Hi, this is Sydney Babik with the Pirate Sports Network. On this Zoom call, I have Sue Regan joined with me. Sue was the first women's basketball coach here at Seton Hall, as well as the first female athletic administrator. She was inducted to the Seton Hall Hall of Fame, as well as the Upper Iowa University Hall of Fame. Being that it is Women's History Month, as well as the 50th anniversary of Title IX, I wanted to have Sue join me for an interview so that we can learn a little bit more about her experiences as a woman in the sports world. So before we start, Sue, how are you doing today?
Great, great. How about you, Cindy?
I'm doing very well. Thank you for
Good,
asking. So
good.
jumping right into things, what does Women's History Month mean to you, especially in relation to female athletes?
Well, obviously, I think it's a time to reflect back on past leaders and what they accomplished, but also to think about the present and the future, because there's still a lot to be done.
And being that you were inducted into the Seton Hall of Fame and Upper Iowa's Hall of Fame,
Mhm.
you've become an icon and a legend to many young female athletes. So what are some things that um, what do you feel makes a great female leader to get into the Hall of Fame?
Well, first, it was very humbling to have been inducted into both Hall of Fames, and I'm a legend in my own mind, or whatever they call it. I think any leader inspires by their actions, by how they conduct themselves and what they do. And it's always a lot of hard work. But I think the biggest word is passion. My favorite quote is from Emerson, and it's nothing great is ever accomplished without enthusiasm. And I think that's true if you're a coach, if you're an athlete, if you're an administrator, whatever level you might be at, you got to be passionate.
Right. And can you give me some of your fondest memories from being the first coach at Seton Hall for women's basketball?
Well, obviously basketball holds a soft spot in my heart. It's in fact, I think next year will be the 50th anniversary of Seton Hall athletics, so women's athletics. So that's also a milestone I think we can look forward to. But just great memories. I think we were very naive at the time. I think it was we didn't really know that we were disenfranchised as much as we were initially, probably. But overall, the program at Seton Hall with our small administrative staff, it was just really 3 or 4 of us at that time in the that were administrators in the program. So it was a totally different landscape. But certainly the excitement of growing the program is something I'll always remember.
And do you have any pieces of advice for young female athletes in this generation?
I think you need to be appreciative of your opportunity. I think that knowing that you're riding on the shoulders of so many athletes that came before you that didn't have the same kind of opportunity. I think it's important that you obviously work hard at what you were passionate about, as we talked about before, and whatever sport you have, but also not to limit yourself to just being, an athlete. Explore life, explore everything. Take advantage of your college experience and education, obviously, and try and be a multi-dimensional person as you go forward in your life.
Yeah, that's a great insight. Thank you for that. And as I said earlier, it is the 50th year anniversary of Title IX. So can you provide me with any moments of recollection from when Title IX was established, and what were the emotions like?
Well, honestly, when it was first passed in 1970, it was just a law. We didn't realize until 72, and we started colleges and universities across the country realized that how impactful it was for athletics. The law itself was simply what is now known as gender equality for all universities across the country, not even universities, all educational institutions from kindergarten straight through to have equal access. And at the time, I don't think anyone realizes that the primary impact was going to be on intercollegiate and interscholastic athletics. That wasn't like when they passed it in 1970, that wasn't where they knew it was going to go. Now people think of Title IX as strictly athletics. They don't think of it in what it was meant to be, which was to stop gender discrimination for everything. And any institution that received federal funds, which is basically everybody receives some kind of federal funds, was had to comply with the new regulations.
Right. And can you depict what opportunities look like for women before Title IX?
Well, first of all, there weren't a lot of programs. Prior to 70 and then subsequently 72, I couldn't give you a figure, but my guess is 20% of colleges had any kind of women's athletics. And when the regulations came out and it was deemed that, and particularly when you go back to a school like Seton Hall that had been a male institution, it wasn't co-ed until 69 or something like that, I think. There obviously were no college athletics. And then when all these male institutions brought females into the schools, they had to provide equal programs, theoretically. It took a long time for it to become more than theoretical, and a long, hard struggle.
And what are your thoughts on female collegiate athletics nowadays compared to when you were coaching and even when you played?
Well, now there's far more opportunities in the forms of scholarships. There's better at coaching because you have full-time coaches now. Most of us, when we started, we were part-time, not full-time coaching, appropriate budget support. And more women coaching women. That's what we need are more women coaching women, I should say.
And like you said, many strides have been made for women in sports, but do you see anything else that you think could be improved? And if so, how do you think we go about that?
I think there's been a lot of articles this week, if you've read any of them, about the NCAA Final Four, or NCAA March Madness, I should say. And without going into it specifically, basically a lot of things were learned last year when it came out, how the men's Final Four, men's March Madness and women's March Madness were totally treated and budgeted differently. And that was exposed greatly last year. And a lot of some strides have been made. But if you read some of the articles that have come out in the New York Times and USA Today, you can see that we still haven't gotten there. We still haven't gotten so that the women playing basketball this week and the next 3 weeks are not equally subsidized. They corrected a lot of things. There was the fiasco with the weight room situation last year. I don't know if you remember that or not. So they've corrected a lot of things, but it's also been exposed that there are a lot of more things they can do. I'm not sure what your initial question was. I forget.
It was just if you see anything else that could be improved.
Again, other than what I just said, I think I would like to see more women coaching women's athletics, and I would like to see more women coaching men's athletics.
All right. Well, Sue, those are all the questions that I have for you today. And I just want to thank you again for joining this call with me to discuss, women in sports, Women's History Month, and the 50th anniversary of Title IX. And once again, this is Sydney Babik reporting for Pirate Sports Network. Thank you for watching.